So there's a few things I'd like to cover before getting into this little video. Yes, this is not my usual format, and this is just a low effort commentary video that'll be outdated tomorrow. But when I think about videos I'd like to release, I think about videos I'd like to watch. I like to watch hype videos for hype events where people talk. So here's my take on that. The biggest thing to point out is the mere existence of this direct. In 2020 we got basically nothing in this regard. Instead replaced by shadow dropped announcements and the occasional mini direct or partner showcase. No big juicy directs though, and Nintendo was still performing fine. So many people were kind of expecting directs to just not happen again. One of which being Arlo. Now I know the Blue Muppet's gonna be getting a lot of crap, but I definitely can't blame him for thinking that directs were a thing of the past. Maybe it was a bit of a reactionary stance, but it's always easy to make claims like that in retrospect. There was a good reason to believe that directs would just not happen again, at least not on the scale as before. Remember that this is the first direct in 530 days. That is a lot of days. The time of the last direct is when I basically started my random fact series, just to put it in another manner. And well, here it is. 50 whole entire minutes. That's longer than some E3 presentations. I have no idea how much of it will be Smash, but obviously there's going to be some Smash in there, as it's directly specified in the tweet itself. And Sakurai even quote retweeted with a mischievous Hoho. We're obviously getting DLC. Now in terms of DLC speculation, I don't usually drop my name into that hat. I think it's just proven to be way too unexpected. Like every single leak or speculation I've seen in recent years has been completely off base, outside of the random lucky guess. So I'm not going to try to guess who it is, as much as I'm just going to hope. And my current hope is a Zelda rep. Now this is also partially a guess, I suppose, but I want a Zelda rep because this is the 35th anniversary. It's happening pretty soon at least. I can guarantee there's going to be Zelda news in this direct because of that, but I'll get into that a bit later. But yeah, some sort of Zelda rep would be awesome. I'd personally prefer someone from Majora's Mask or something like that, maybe like Impa or something. So long as they're not just another Link. Honestly, I'd even take another Link if his playstyle was different enough, but whatever. Outside of that, there's a lot of hype being built around Phoenix Wright, which I'm absolutely down for. He was one of the characters I wanted in the game a while ago, and I've stopped being into the series as much since then, but I'd still really like him. But yeah, I have absolutely no clue who on earth it could be. I'm still low-key expecting a Zelda rep, but the history of this DLC pack has shown me that all of my expectations are stupid, and so am I. This is still a 50-minute presentation though, and Smash has been given quite a bit of focus in that initial tweet. It may just be to build up hype, because let's face it, Smash is the biggest hype generator for Nintendo at the moment. But it being given focus does lead me to believe that we might get more than just a character reveal. Perhaps we'll get an entire showcase with Sakurai too. Or perhaps Smash would get a bit more than just an additional character, like a new minigame, a big patch, or something like that. As for the rest of the direct, like I said earlier, I feel like Zelda has to be a given. Mario's 35th anniversary was released like a week or so before the actual anniversary, and Zelda's anniversary is the 21st of this month, if I remember correctly, which is, you know, basically a week after the direct. If we don't get any Zelda news at all, you'll have to color me surprised for the rest of my life. For 50 whole minutes of a direct, they've got to do something, right? Now, I'm a gigantic Zelda fan. My logo and usual background are based off of the Minish Cap, my childhood Zelda game. So this, of course, has me really excited. I'm expecting mostly some Breath of the Wild 2 news, even if it's just another vague trailer with maybe a title drop. I think we're due for it by now. I know that some people are getting impatient, and some people are getting salty that Zelda fans are getting impatient. That's a whole petty argument I don't want to get into. But it has been a hot minute since they initially revealed Breath of the Wild 2, and it just makes sense. The anniversary is happening now, it's the biggest direct we've seen from Nintendo in a while. Where else would they give more news about this? So that's another thing I'm sort of considering as a given, is the Breath of the Wild 2 news. But it's still Zelda's anniversary. I would expect more than just some vague news on the new game. Personally, I'm expecting something akin to the 3D All-Stars pack that Mario got, but with the Zelda games, like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, or Skyward Sword. If I had to narrow it down to 3 like Mario got, I'd probably choose the first 3? I don't know, there's a lot of good stuff to choose from. But one thing I do partially anticipate is the lack of a deadline. Or rather, I don't think they'll make it unavailable after a period of time. Now, that's me being optimistic, of course, but they received a lot of well-deserved criticism for doing that with Mario's 3D All-Stars. So I honestly figured they'd know that they sort of screwed up there and would just not do it again. Again, that's me being optimistic. If they do make a hypothetical Zelda All-Stars a limited release, then I'm gonna be pretty disappointed in them. That's just not a good practice to be playing around with. And to keep doing it after all of the well-deserved backlash, I don't know. There's some other safe speculations you could make, like a version of the Super Mario Bros. 3D thing for Zelda, where they just go around an overworld and kill monsters or whatever. Something like that could be fun. I have no idea what they would do though. It's always way easier to base speculation off of examples of what's already happened, and Nintendo doesn't always like to do that, for better or worse. Now, I know as a Zelda fan, we're not exactly starved of Zelda games, but I do sort of want a 2D Zelda game as well. A new one, not a remix or practical remix of an old game. No hate on A Link Between Worlds, by the way, that's like one of my favorite Zelda games. But the overworld is basically the one from A Link to the Past. Getting an original 2D Zelda game would be awesome. Now, what's the difference between 2D and 3D Zelda? I don't think it's anywhere near as stark as the difference between 2D and 3D Metroid for me, but I'm making this distinction from a practical standpoint. Currently, they're putting focus on Breath of the Wild for their 3D stuff. Not a bad thing, but Breath of the Wild clearly goes out of its way to break Zelda tradition and be more unique, or go back to its roots. Again, not a bad thing. But I like traditional Zelda games, so the options are either for Breath of the Wild 2 to get more traditional in some way, which I'd like, you know, more enemy variety, more weapons that you can unlock over time, better dungeons, blah blah blah, that's all subjective too, I'm not going to get into an argument about that here. Or they can work on smaller side projects alongside Breath of the Wild 2 that are wholly traditional, or at least mostly, you know. And by 2D, I mean top-down, which is kinda 2.5D, I guess. Though I'd honestly prefer going back to sprites for artwork. I've always liked that style, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I'm kinda hoping we'll get some sort of top-down traditional Zelda to go along with Breath of the Wild 2 in its break from tradition. I just think that would be nice for the two approaches to the series to coexist. We don't even have to necessarily get that top-down Zelda announced in this direct, considering we just got a whole spin-off released. But that's just something I'm hoping for in general, and that's what these types of videos are about, right? Talking about hopes and wishes about things we like and stuff. I like Zelda. A lot. Now, there's loads of other stuff I could discuss, like when's Bayonetta 3? Note, probably not soon, as stated by the game staff. Or perhaps a new Pokemon game. We're definitely due for it. Probably the Sinnoh remix everyone's talking about. I don't know, I don't like Pokemon anymore. I'd rather a spin-off like Pokemon Rangers or Mystery Dungeon. Some new Metroid stuff would be nice too. More information on Metroid Prime 4 would be cool. Even if the Prime games aren't my favorite part of the franchise. More news on No More Heroes 3 would be awesome too. But that's about it for me. I tried to expand my horizons at least on the news that I'm aware of for gaming. But I clearly only have a small subset of games that I put my focus on, and Zelda is one of them. Oh yeah, I'd also like to see the 35th Anniversary Zelda Orchestra. They've done orchestral covers of Zelda songs and medleys on the 25th and 30th anniversaries, so I'm hoping we get to hear more this year. Or rather, I'm just really hoping the pandemic hasn't halted this in any way. I always loved hearing the new orchestral remixes and medleys of Zelda songs. But yeah, that's all I wanted to chat about. I don't usually like to live stream, but I always have fun live streaming live-streamed events. So I'm definitely streaming tomorrow for the direct here on YouTube if you want to check it out. If there are any good reactions, then I'll also upload those onto YouTube. I normally only like to have semi-high effort edited videos on my channel, but contrary to what some stuck-up people might think, I think there's a merit to some low effort, easygoing content like this. Again, just think about what you watch. I like watching videos of people talk about things I like, especially for events that I'm hyped about. Also, this is the shortest month of the year. So given my current work schedule, I'd only be able to upload 2 total videos this month anyways. So I figure no harm, no foul, right? So I hope you're excited for tomorrow like I am. Regardless of all the speculation and discussion, the one guarantee is that tomorrow is going to be absolutely huge. I can't imagine they'd be able to disappoint everyone with 50 full minutes of announcements and Smash DLC, like come on. So stay motivated, stay casual, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Or whenever.